So what is your name and role at the club?
My name is Guillem Balague and I'm the chairman of Biggleswade United.
Brilliant. So can you tell us a bit about the work that you do?
There's a lot involved, but I think there is two branches of it. One, I have to raise money for the club for everything that we don't get through bar, gates, sponsorship, etc. We have to raise for a bunch of things. That's part of my role. The other one, I think, it's to set up identity and to keep it going. So we all need to be part of something. Everybody wants to be part of something special. You have to convert that thing that we've got, the club, into something special. Our club is like many other ones, but if you convince the people at the club that we are a place where we've got the right values, we organize the right way, we be as professional as we can. I think people enjoys being with us and participating. So part of my role is to make sure that we create that identity, and as I said, just keep it going in time.
How long have you been with the club?
Since October 2014.
What's been your favourite thing about it since you've joined?
I could tell you more about evenings after games than games themselves. So to be part of a community that we are creating. When I first arrived, we were 2 teams, and now we've got 5 senior sides, 2 men's, 2 women's, veterans. We've got an academy with 10 teams. So we're doing that by putting a lot of hours and convincing people to join us, and through that identity I was telling you about. So memories are not so much of goals, but of creating that community and being part of it, and the conversations after the games, the few beers after the games, the suffering and the enjoyment together when we were moved to the United Counties League, that we guaranteed staying in the division in the last 20 minutes of the last game, with people crying and being emotional because we managed to do it. That was perhaps, in terms of memory, one of the best, but it's not to do so much with goals, it's to do with that sense that we were doing all that together.
So how did you get into working with the club?
I was chosen. The chairman at the time, Chris Lewis, said, we hear you talk, send an email and basically said, we hear you talk about football, you think you know, prove it. And it was giving me the opportunity to help run the football club. And at first I called myself director of football, then in January 2019 we needed a chairman. I said, I'll do it, and it's the best thing I do. Tracy James is the secretary, and she's been with us for 40 years. She's the lighthouse. She tells us where we go, but at the same time there is so much going on. We need a lot of people to help us, and as I said, to convince them to be part of it, we need to offer something to them, and we do this. We create this little world in which we're all so happy. So it's, as I said, it's one of the best things I do.
How many volunteers does the club currently have?
I would say we've got about 250 people involved at the club, and that is coaches, players, administrators, volunteers. So if you count coaches as volunteers, I think we're talking 60, 70 people that are doing it all just because they want to and because they get something out of it, and voluntarily as well. I'd say, more or less that.
And how important are volunteers to the club?
Volunteers are the soul of the club. That's what I'm saying. You have to give them something, and you have to give them a sense of community, a sense of purpose, responsibility, and the idea that they are part of something special. I insist, we are like any other club, but those that are within the club, they really feel like they're participating in something that they are building themselves. There is direction, of course, but it's them who are putting the petrol to the engine. So it is absolutely brilliant to see how many people do things just because, as I said, they want to be part of something.
So what is your average attendance?
I think it'll be about 100 and 150, something like that. Obviously derbies we could get to 300, but that'll be about right.
So what strategies have you tried to try and increase attendance?
It's a battle, but if you have a team that's entertaining, and we are one of the best goal scorers in the division, for instance, the men's, the women's are competing really, really well as well, and that is gates are increasing on Sundays. But you have to give them a match experience that people enjoy. The visitors, the VIPs, if you like, get good food, get looked after, and the club's house has to be warm, has to be spacious, has to be well, looked after, and that's great job from Karen and Petula and Heather and Tracy and everybody else. So it's that, and just keep going. Obviously, through social media, we advertise the games. We try to develop relationships with local people, invite them over by getting, for instance, player sponsorship with men's and women's. You get relationships with local businesses that, once invited at the clubhouse, then you woo them and maybe hope that they come back, or they want to be in a bigger way sponsors of the club. And that's how, little by little, there's no clear path, there's no clear idea how to get to do this, but we just have to keep going.
So how important are things like the FA Cup to keep the club afloat?
It's budget. FA Cup is good, but it's also attracts people, attracts fans, and attracts audience. I remember, the FA Cup, the cup itself, the trophy, does a tour, and we were the first stop of about 6-7 years ago, and it was like 500 people came over through the gates just to take a picture with the FA Cup. It was the original one,
Easy.
And that was a brilliant day to see so many people coming over. So at our level, even though we start at the beginning of August to play it, it is one of the exciting things of the year.
So what keeps the club afloat?
The enthusiasm of people, first of all, the consistency of volunteers, so they don't come and go, most of them stay, and that's how you can grow, otherwise it's difficult. Finances, obviously. We were helped by the FA and other authorities during COVID time. Now it's harder to get their help, but still we can get grants and things like that to make sure that we stay at the standards that we put in place.
If you could speak to someone to try and encourage them to come and watch the club, what would you say?
You haven't been yet. It's the best Saturday or Sunday, if you want to watch women's, that you could have, because you've got the opportunity to talk to the players, to the coaches. You make friends. If you come consistently, these are relationships that could become important to you. Networking, but also, emotionally, you can have a support group if you need it. So it's just a great way of spending the weekend.
How would you compare Biggleswade United and non-league to all the football that you watch, the Champions League and all the experiences you've had?
It's football, which at many levels is the same thing. Obviously the rules are the same, but I wrote this in the Pep Guardiola biography, and he agreed that you get in the changing room the same kind of players. There is the leader, there is the vocal guy, there is the jealous guy, there is the or girl. There is the one that needs an arm around the shoulder. The changing room is not that different. Obviously, at professional level, you live life in a different way, and it becomes your focal point of your life. And grassroots, not so much. But the emotions are similar, very similar. In fact, I've been an Espanyol fan all my life, and a Liverpool fan in England. But it's nothing like Biggleswade United. It's the only result that matters to me at the weekend. The men's, the women's, the kids as well is the one that I look forward to seeing. And it's not. This is not about, in my case anyway, about wins or defeats. It's about being part of something. But it's nice to win.